full vision, but I'm trying to like think like how could you add that into the actual story?
Oh yeah.
Like if that plays at the start, it's like 40 as if he jumped out of the plane or something.
Wait,
What happened at the start? At the start, he'd land.
Yeah.
With the parachute. That's it.
Does he kind of reveal what happens? Like why that's
why he landed?
Dude. That's good. That's really.
That just looks seamless.
Everyone get their phones out.
Should have brought like a proper camera.
To me, when I hear the songs, they're like snippets of his life, and then you listen to the lyrics and think, oh, that's when that happened, and that's when that happened. Yeah.
I think as soon as we met him, it was pretty obvious straight away that we were going to have a long-lasting relationship, just because like we all kind of fall in line to what, you know, we would kind of complement each other. So yeah, we have a good relationship with him, but yeah, I'd say he's a pretty driven young artist, definitely.
He is ambitious and really strives to take new steps, not only his music, but in obviously like the music videos and all that kind of thing. George is someone that I've always seen as like an extremist with everything he does. As soon as the first time I met him, I was like, man, this guy really pushes everything to the limits. Prove people wrong, pretty much. He wants to prove people wrong, and that's what I like the most about George, I think.
Being there like by George's side since the beginning, it's been one hell of a journey. Like, we've gone through so much together, and seeing us get to this point already really shows that, you know, when we put in the work, we get there. And I think during this process, you know, getting ready for this shoot, you know, starting off as, you know, listening to the song, coming up with the ideas of what to do with this song, it was, you know, a lot of work that we put into, you know, to understand George as well.
I'm George's mum, and that's it, my connection. Irene, but you can call me Cookie.
My name's Scott. All the lads and everyone call me Ox. I'm Irene's husband and George's dad.
And what does his music mean to you guys when you hear it?
I hear it at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. Me. I hear it all the time, but it means a lot. It means a lot to us because it shows that he's determined with his passion to follow his dream, so we support him as best we can, you know. When George has got his mind to it, bang, he's onto it until, again, whatever time of the night.
I think, and also the way he looks at things, the way something will happen and his point of view is just totally different, the way he sees things and what he takes away from it.
Where did you first want him to pursue this path in music? What were you doing?
That's you.
Well, he got into university and I wanted him to sort of take over the business, and he was going to be the protege in my eyes. And then one night at dinner he said, "Dad, can you build me a music studio?" I laughed and said, "What the f***? Why would you want a music studio?" He said, "Because I want to get into music." I said, "Mate, you don't play any instruments, and the last instrument you played was, I think, the recorder with Tyron in St. Greg's primary school, so come on, right, isn't it?"
I did the flute.
Oh, the flute, yeah. Sorry, instead of that, it was that. You write the songs, write the lyrics, put it all together, and if it's any good, yeah, sure, we'll back you. We've backed him ever since, obviously.
He came to me and asked if I could come out and do some filming. And I said,
yes.
Okay. So we went out into the backyard and he was looking at the view and he was saying, okay, can you just stand here and film it? And then he just, I just started recording and he just started rapping. And I went, wow. I was just stood there in disbelief. I said, when did you do this? And then I was doing that for a while. Yeah.
You're the original OneHouse production.
And then he upgraded.
Let's do it. Let's go. So my name is Finnegan Sampson, and I was the director of Santorini, the music video. And yeah, I'm a partner of OneHouse.
My name is Max Kersley. I was the producer on the Santorini music video.
My name's Cam. I was cinematographer on the Santorini shoot.
My name's Ben. I was the AC sound designer, and I'm also co-owner at OneHouse.
I met him when I was probably about 15, 16 at a party, just as, you know, like with mates and stuff like that. And I remember at the time he had something going on with like one of his clothing brands or something. You know, George has always been someone who's always doing something. It's always been, he's got one project going on, but you know, I think as soon as he started music, that's where he's like really committed just to that one, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, it was at a party, and then I didn't really speak to him for a couple of years. We just kind of were going in different directions, and then by chance just kind of rekindled. So yeah, it wasn't only until he reached out to me asking about what the hell OneHouse was, till then we actually got speaking, and then me and the boys met up with him.
So Finn had met George, I hadn't. And then yeah, just sitting down talking to him, obviously like, I think as a team, as a unit, we all just really gelled really quickly, and we were on the same wavelength with what we wanted to do.
At the start, it took me a while to put a finger on him. I was like, I've never met anyone like George in my life. But yeah, it's just been a kind of natural relationship the past year or so.
But I think what I really see him as, besides a friend, is someone we can grow with, OneHouse can grow with, because obviously as he's coming up in his music career, I think it's awesome for us to sort of be alongside him, really just working on the creative side of everything he's doing in his career.
So when did you first hear Santorini?
Probably would have been on around the time we shot Don't Be Selfish, and he was, you know, because George is always on to the next thing, and he was just like, oh, this is what's probably coming up next in terms of the music video space.
Him and I both knew that would be the next one after Don't Be Selfish, and because, you know, instead of Don't Be Selfish, we're already talking about the next one.
Well, originally it started off pretty tame. He's going like the whole Grease thing, we're doing stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, like, you know, sounds interesting. And then he starts, a couple weeks later, comes around, he starts talking about airports. And I'm like, oh, don't really know how that's gonna happen, but...
Finn had come up with this whole aviation idea, which seemed fitting. Immediately, as soon as I heard that, I kind of got, you know, the cogs started turning on, you know, what we can do for visuals. I was thinking, you know, airport, huge piece of land, expansive location.
I think, you know, it kind of gave me that vibe of, you know, going away to some place, and I wanted to use the plane as a metaphor for his relationship, as it's kind of crashing and burning, and, you know, I guess it's a kind of like ode to how he let go of it.
You know, Finn's a creatively ambitious bloke, and I like that because that pushes me. You know, there's been plenty of times I've turned to Finn, I'm like, I don't think we can do that, and the fact is we can.
We knew it was going to be difficult, but we didn't realise it was going to take as much as it did to actually lock one in.
I got into the process of, I contacted, it would have been over 10 airports in Melbourne, and a lot of airports just didn't reply. Obviously didn't think we were legit.
Max landed, you know, called me one day and said this guy from Lethbridge, this airport called Lethbridge out near Geelong, said, yeah, come check it out. Okay, there's a chance here. Let's go. Like, let's go for it.
Location scouting. Logistics over here, taking calls. Got the DP here, taking notes. And we got the artist over there, writing bars.
You know, it's like this big, amazing airfield, and then you hear this buggy, and here comes Gary, like, coming along. And Gary gets out of the buggy and goes, oh, g'day guys, like, how you going? You know, and I think it was then, like, I feel like there's a lot of moments, especially in film, where, like, when you're location scouting or when you like land on something and when you like actually like are at a certain spot, something will just feel right, and you know that's where it's going to be and where you're going to film it, and you know you've like gotten lucky, and that was exactly the feeling, you know, meeting this like really humble, amazing guy with like such an awesome story.
Not everything's a winner, you know. You get, you know, it's like what you're doing here. You think this is really good, and it fizz, and then you go on the next thing you didn't think was going to take off, and your name's up there. You know, just how easy it can happen. But you don't know unless you have a go.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, you got to have that gamble of doing something stupid to do it. You know.
Yeah, exactly right.
He took us into one of his hangars, and he showed us this huge. It was this yellow plane that was rather old. Maybe it was 1940s in that era.
When I first saw that plane, I turned to Gary and I said, hypothetically, could we put someone in this? Could we film in the plane? And he said, yeah, we could do that.
Immediately we just thought, okay, wow, this opens up a whole bunch of doors now. You know, are we gonna really send George up in the air?
We came out of the hangar, and like the more and more I thought about it, the more and more I liked the idea. And I turned to Max and I said, Max, I want to put George in the air and shoot in the air. And Max went, you what?
I wanted to put my head in my hands at that point and go, oh, yeah, let's do that. But again, he committed to it. And then I guess that process started of organising all of that.
It's craziness. I remember telling my mum, "Hey mum, we're shooting a plane in a few months for one of our music videos." She's looking at me saying, "Come on, no you're not." Like, what?
Oh my God, really? A plane?
Is that what you said?
Yeah. A runway? What? That's what I said to him.
I did think that. I did think, fuck me, a plane.
But who does that? Like, who does that?
What do you think, Georgie? A lot better than I thought it'd be.
Yeah.
So we're looking good.
No, it's
Mate, we're looking incredible.
This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, what's up?
How you going?
I'm alright, you?
Yeah, good. What's the, you heard back from any of the pilots yet?
Yeah, look, it's not great. A couple of them just got back to me, which is a bit frustrating, and then another couple said that they can't really do it just with all the charter legal stuff, so it's not going great.
Well, we had the airport at that point. We were pretty confident that that was all sorted. And then it was, well, okay, now it's the plane.
I remember it got to probably 2 weeks into Max contacting a bunch of pilots around Melbourne. He's probably got about 15 pilots' phone numbers in his phone. And Max rang me up and he said, and it was after another no, and Max said to me, like, you're gonna have to maybe let go of this idea.
Their situation changed. There was some insurance issues where they legally couldn't actually get anyone else in the plane. So that wrote that off. Then they passed me on to someone else who couldn't do it because they technically couldn't take like passengers or something. And it was just like kind of snowballing on and on and on. We were getting closer to the time period we wanted to shoot in. Was looking like, well, this might not happen, and then go on to one last guy.
And so I said, just call this, like, one last guy. And that ended up being Anatol, who's the Adventure Flight co-founder.
G'day, George. Just mentioned Anatol. G'day. Lovely to see you. G'day. So you got a fair crew. Yeah.
We went out to the day and had a look, and it legit looked like a bomber jet. And I think Finn and I, our first thoughts were, okay, this looks like Dunkirk, right? Dunkirk has crazy aerial shots. One shot in particular where the camera's inside with the pilot, and then behind him you see, you know, the world sort of spinning in circles as the plane did. So our first thought was, okay, how are we gonna strap a camera into the plane? We bought this sort of suction cap rig that we were hoping that it would fit. Unfortunately, it didn't.
Can I just straight away?
No,
That's what I just said to him. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not going to fit.
Yeah. Have a look.
Yeah,
Jump
yeah,
up there.
definitely.
Gonna be the first one to say, I told you so.
So we literally got one suction cap, screwed the camera onto it,
So one after tape.
and just went right on the dashboard sort of thing, just facing George, right?
I love how you guys are more caring about the black magic about
George's expendable.
I felt like an objective, like
nervous.
Not really.
We tied it down and said, okay, I hope this stays. Yeah, George went up in the plane. You know, we thought, okay, this will be sick, and if this, we can actually pull this off, you know, because obviously with this aerobatic plane, it'll be doing spins, it'll be doing flips.
Oh my god. Oh my god!
And this will kind of be, you know, the spectacle of the video.
Dude, I'm just trying to picture George still like, and nothing's gonna stay the same.
Our first thought was, I hope the camera survived. I remember when the plane was landing, all I heard Max scream out was, oh, the camera's still there. He didn't even care about George, right?
The camera's still there, the camera's still there, I can see it.
We took the camera off and thought, okay, well, hopefully the batteries lasted. Yeah, hit playback. We scrubbed through, we thought, wow, this looks insane. But we scrubbed through until we hit one of the rolls, one of the first spins that the camera did. And we just lost it. We thought, my God, like, I'd never seen anything like this. The adrenaline from that was insane. I think it was that point that everyone there, we kind of looked at each other and we just thought, yeah, this'll work.
My name's Tran, and I did the main designs for Santorini, and I'm the creative director for George. So I designed the patches for the jacket and the magazine, as well as the cover art for Santorini. Finn picked up two of these really cool retro magazines, or we call them comics as well. As I looked at them, we thought we could like create comics that were in that style and reference George. I thought it would be really cool to just kind of keep that cover and like appropriate it so it matched George's music and made reference to his song. That leather jacket, so we found that leather jacket, and to give it that extra like aesthetic, I thought that we could add some patches to the jacket, give it some character. So we had like Out of Time, his album that's coming out. We mentioned Santorini, obviously 812, which is very important reference to back in the old days with his old like album and stuff like that.
You're a Don, bro.
You're a Don.
Yeah.
I'd say that week leading up to it was probably one of the most stressful weeks of my life. We were just looking at the weather every day and we were thinking it's going to get better, and it just got worse.
Every morning, Maxie and I would call, and Maxie would be going, what do we do? What do we do? Like, what are you thinking? And I'm like, I don't know, what are you thinking? You know, no one really knew. And then George was like, what are you thinking? And it's like, everyone was kind of like, do we move it to the following week?
Think about it, like, we've spent money on the plane, on the camera, all the crew that's come out. You know, like there are a lot of moving parts and all the puzzle pieces were there.
This might not go through, this might not work. I mean, all this months of preparation trying to get this done, and we can't get it done because of the weather.
So it's like, you know, say we got rained on and it kind of wrecked the whole shoot. Like, are you kidding? There's so many things riding on this kind of thing.
It got to the point where I think I said to Max, like, we're just gonna have to do it. We're gonna take the punt.
This huge kind of thing. There's gonna be a plane in the middle. And there's gonna be a bit of natural light from the top, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We had a lot of the crew come up the night before because it was gonna be a really early start. It was a lot of new faces for a lot of people, you know, a lot of like first time working with each other and everything. I think it was important to kind of have a group meeting the night before and kind of establish exactly what we're going to do the next day. But yeah, like, he's going to be like the go-getter if we need any. So yeah, we sat down in the living room of the Airbnb and had a meeting and had a chat and went through the shot list, and because we had a lot to get through on the day. I already knew that Maxi was going to be on my ass, and I told the rest of the crew that too. So everyone knew.
Maxi, the AD is going to be up our asses all day. Yeah.
You will hate him by the end of the shoot. Sweet.
It was good though. It was really good to have that meeting. I feel like it kind of settled everyone a little bit, and everyone was kind of clear on exactly what we were doing the next day. It was a nice little moment, you know. Yeah.
Everything ready to go? I'm going to bed.
See you all in 5 hours.
Well, it's not like we have anywhere I like to swear.
What the hell, bro? What the hell is he for real? For real?
I like it. We're like, oh, see you. Where we going?
Surprisingly not as cold as I expected.
Yeah, dude. Can you not say that? Because then the world's going to go, really?
Oh, you want to see cold?
It's 6:41. Because I'm f***ing tired. And I'm f***ing wrecked.
When you've worked so hard on something and you've got all these different moving elements, and you know, you've set up a pilot, you've set up everything, like, that's when it gets scary. But when we got there, that's when things started to go a little wrong.
Max gets on the phone with the pilot, and the pilot kind of says to him, he goes, you know, I won't be able to come in and fly because of the weather.
Yeah. I mean, we said like there's a very high chance.
And then get the first call from Anatole saying, oh look, I'm going to be honest, it's not looking great. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, like, we're actually not going to be able to do it.
He said there was a very high chance he can't do it today.
He said, like I said to him, I'm like, he said we're going to touch base again at 8. He said, look, he said with the weather, it's just one of those things. It's a half by half hour kind of check.
You know, rain with flying, obviously they don't fit in quite well. So we were kind of anticipating that, you know, we're hoping it was going to be okay. But I looked over at Max, and Max kind of pulled me aside and said, like, I don't think we might not be able to do this. They're not going to be able to fly here.
I have faith in that.
But I said, look,
I needed a second, so I just like stood myself. I was thinking, I was like, well, I mean, we could go to him. He was able to fly in. It was just the plane stunt stuff that we weren't probably going to be able to do that day.
The idea is that if he can't fly, we go to him and use his runway. That was really good.
We can, and then immediately you start making, okay, well, how do we move this to here and moving all the shots around? Okay, we've got to cut this maybe. The stakes on this were just incredibly high because of how much had been put into it and how many factors and moving parts there was and the risk and reward kind of thing. That actually ended up working out really well because we would not have had the time to do it, so we did another day.
okay, update. Comes to worst, if like I'm calling back at 8. If he can't do it, we're going to go to Barwon Heads. So, but yeah, we probably won't do the flying bit today. We're so sorry to let you all know.
Max was pretty stressed. But as you would be, you know. He did an amazing job in the whole organising all these kind of logistical things of having a pilot there, having a plane there, and then, you know, for all that to come crumbling down because of some precipitation. It's a tough thing. It's out of our sphere of influence, out of our control. We moved forward and we did it. You know, that was just woke us up. You know, it got us awake pretty quickly in the morning. But yeah.
Try it again.
Dude, this is crazy. We're gonna set Santorini. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
Just crazy shit.
I reckon. Yeah. Bring in one plane.
The first shot we got in the whole day was Gary driving, you know, he's in his buggy and he's pushing in the plane into this hangar. he had me get up on top of, I think it was like the toilet cubicle, and I'm up there shooting it. And, you know, I'm looking through the eyepiece and I see it come in and I just think, wow, you know what, like, this is unreal. It almost didn't feel real, the fact that, you know, the image I was looking at that we were capturing there and then, like, this is the stuff you see in movies. Can you believe it's happening right in front of me? And you know, we got a whole day of this.
Once we had that first shot, and when Cam and I looked at it, it was kind of like, wow, like we're actually here, we're doing this, we've got plans, we've put in the hard yards. Now we're just executing it, we're gonna have fun, and we had heaps of fun.
You see me?
It was a pretty surreal feeling, but you know, on the day, nothing beat the visuals we got.
How smoothly would you say the rest of the day went?
I'd say it didn't go smoothly in the slightest, but not in a negative way. It's just things just kept happening, but I was really proud of how everyone just kept being flexible with it. Because we literally got every single season of weather in that day. It was like stormy and rainy, and then the sun was absolutely blaring, shining, and then it was like sun showers later in the day. And it's just so many different things that happened, but everyone was so flexible. Everyone just moved. Okay, yeah, we can move this now, go inside and do that. Everyone just did their part so well and was so adapting to change that we just got it all done.
I feel like the energy on set was unmatched. It's one of the most memorable days. Just great seeing so many people come together for one vision. I mean, a day it goes quick. It goes really quick. Up, you get a few shots done, and all of a sudden it's 2 hours has passed.
It didn't even feel real. It felt like the day didn't even happen because it went by in a blink.
We had 20 to 30 people come out in the end, which is like amazing. You know, I think that's like something really special about film and what we do. You know, that feeling of having like a team and a bunch of, you know, creative, like-minded people all working on something together, all committed to like one vision and one, you know, like this is what we're gonna make, and like having a piece of themselves in that. I think that's a big reason of why we do what we do. So Nick and Daniel both brought a car, like their car rig, and they brought a car, and Jack, who was the pilot, we spoke with him and he's like, okay, and we knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to literally follow this plane taking off, right?
I mean, I was kind of just in awe at that point, just watching this happen in front of me. I'm like, how is this actually happening on my film set? This is nuts. You don't see this every day in lovely old Victoria.
That was one of the most exhilarating experiences of my life. Hand on heart, I can say that was something I'd never experienced before.
Oh my god. How's that? That was one of the most exhilarating. I thought the plane was going to land on us.
You were going
like 200.
Look,
He's like,
I'm
out here controlling
look at this photo Nat got.
And he goes up and I'm pushing it up like that. And it's going. You could have seen the better part. The better part was when he.
That's crazy, dude.
That was insane. Wait, watch this.
We were pretty spoilt with that experience, you know. It was pretty unreal, surreal that happened.
Nick's like, she's coming in, and it just like goes like, it's like just there. It's like, you're like, oh, holes in the car, like.
I think once we wrapped up, I was just very proud. You know, like I never expected that we would be doing stuff like this. It's really crazy to think that if you put your mind to something, you know, no matter how old you are, no matter what no matter what your talents are, capabilities, if you put your mind to something, you can really pull it off.
I mean, it's amazing. Like from that original conception of, yeah, we're gonna put George in the sky, and then lo and behold, there he is.
It wasn't until we got that last shot of him standing in the field till it it was like, oh my god, you know, we've done at least a good chunk of this. You know, I think it went by so quickly.
That's a wrap.
Woo! Yeah.
Let's go!
Long day.
You gonna let me have some more?
Final words. Wonder what we're gonna do for the next one.
Yeah, I think it was just pure joy seeing it and just kind of being like, wow, this, you know, we can sort of call this ours, and yeah, it was pretty surreal to sort of see it all come together.
Blown away, totally blown away. Just kept saying, wow. I think I said that 30 times, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seeing how it was all put together and edited into a film clip, and you think, wow, like I remember that. When they were filming it, yeah, I was
Nice.
really taken aback. Yeah.
It's a pretty special moment when you're sitting there with the artists and you know you hit the export button and that's it, you know.
I'll go on to the last question.
Here we go.
What does the phrase "in due time" mean to you, and how do you think it relates to George?
Oh, you got this one.
In due time. To me, it's when the time is right, it'll happen. And I think that pretty much nails it on the head about George's album and this song.
When the time's right, it'll
Yeah.
come and things like that. Yeah.
It's all about timing.
That's
Yeah.
the line that
I always say it.
I was going to say it.
It's all about timing.
That's the line you say. It's
yeah,
all about timing.
in life.
In Due Time represents everything that I do, as well as George does, as well as like everyone in this team. Everything we do, we always talk about our future, and in due time is the perfect phrase to define that. You know, when the time's right, if we keep working, we'll get to our goals and we'll reach our goals and we'll reach our highest potentials.
When you create something like that and you have that whole experience, it kind of like brings you back to that little kid who was watching films, you know, and it's always something that like you wanted to do, and then when you actually do it, it's like, wow, like I'm really grateful that we had that opportunity and we are given those opportunities to do that, because we are just kids making movies, you know.
I think one of the hardest things when you're trying to do a big project like we have is trying to work as a team, or like a well-oiled machine. Like you've got Ty, and now there's, you know, Andy in the mix, and then having those boys work as well as they do with the OneHouse boys, when everybody else is able to get the job done. You know, on the days where I can't get the job done, that's probably one of the most important things. To me, year after year, it's about how do we chase that wow feeling? How do we raise our own bar? You know, even if we don't get the response that we want, you know, as a team, you know, the fact that we're all proud of what we've done, and, you know, we look back at, you know, the work we put into Don't Be Selfish and G1, and now we look at this with Santorini and Out of Time. Just the fact that we as a team and as a unit are more proud of what was done. And when we think we've raised the bar, that's where I draw my line. You know, you can't spend your whole career trying to please other people. You've just got to please yourself and those around you.
Yeah. We are.